Good afternoon, everyone. This is David Merrill, President of USINDO. I'm pleased to welcome everyone to this virtual welcome event. I guess this is the new normal, in honor of Indonesia's new ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Muhammad Lutfi, our good friend. Ambassador Lutfi, judging by the 300 registrations for this event, there's an unusually high interest and anticipation in you and what you, with your ministerial level experience in both trade and investment, your previous diplomatic experience, and the high regard in which you are held by President Jokowi's government, are in a position to do for Indonesia and the U.S.-Indonesia relationship during your highly anticipated tour. My wife Iram and all of us present today also warmly welcome Bianca Adinegoro Lutfi. Ibu Bianca, we all look forward to getting to know you and helping you have a tour in Washington. Ambassador Lutfi, we have with us for this event virtually the entire community of those interested in seizing the potential for advancing U.S.-Indonesia relations. Many officials of the U.S. government across many departments and agencies, led by Assistant Secretary of State for Asia Pacific Affairs, David Stillwell. USINDO's co-chair, former ambassador to Indonesia, Bob Blake, who we've already met just now, re-met. USINDO's Indonesian co-chair, Pak Theo Sambuaga, who I think is either on the line or will be momentarily. All of USINDO's officers and a large number of our trustees, advisors, and members. There is a particularly huge interest in you, as is appropriate, from the private sector. We welcome and particularly appreciate the presence today of Richard Atkerson, Global CEO of Freeport-McMoRan, who operates the largest U.S. investment in PT Freeport Indonesia, a majority Indonesian-owned company. Richard and Ambassador Lutfi have known each other for decades. We welcome Bijan Agarwal, CEO of ConocoPhillips Indonesia, a USINDO trustee, Anne-Marie Paget of Caterpillar, a USINDO trustee, J.J. Ong of Chevron, Bob Chair of BP, Peter Lavoy of ExxonMobil. We welcome former U.S. ambassadors to Indonesia, Joe Donovan, Bob Blake, Lynn Pascoe, Bob Gelbard, and Cameron Hume. Brunei, Ambassador Ali. Our related organizations, Alex Feldman, CEO of the U.S. ASEAN Business Council, Wayne Forrest, President of the American Indonesia Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, CSIS, and a special thanks for the presence today of all of our trustees, advisors, members, and supporters of enhancing U.S.-Indonesia relations. You are the backbone of USINDO. I now ask U.S. Co-Chair Bob Blake for his remarks.
Well, thank you very much, David and Ambassador Lutfi. This is Lutfi, my good friend Theo Sambuaga, the co-chair of the USINDO board, Assistant Secretary Stillwell, and all of our other friends. On behalf of the American Board of Trustees and the Board of Advisors of USINDO, I want to extend a very, very warm welcome to Ambassador Lutfi and his wife, Bianca. I think it's a mark of the importance that both of our countries attach to our strategic partnership that the Indonesian government and parliament moved quickly to approve Ambassador Lutfi's nomination, and that the US government also acted with dispatch so that the ambassador could present his credentials to President Trump last week. As all of you know, the ambassador brings a wealth of experience that will serve him extremely well in advancing our relations. For example, we all recognize that there is much more to be done to expand trade and investment between our two countries. And as David said, Ambassador Lutfi is experienced both as a private businessman and in government as Minister of Trade and head of Indonesia's Investment Promotion Agency, give him an ideal understanding both of the challenges that we face, but also how we can overcome them. And likewise, his study in the United States, his degree from Purdue University, will serve him very well as we all work together to expand the number of Indonesian students studying in America, but also the opportunity to expand research and other partnerships between US and Indonesian universities. So, Ambassador Lutfi, as you take up your important duties, I just want to assure you that you can count on the unequivocal and enthusiastic support of USINDO, our Board of Trustees, and our Board of Advisors for your important efforts. We all believe there is so much more that we can do together, and we are truly excited about the opportunity to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Theo, are you on the line? I now have the pleasure of asking the Honorable David R. Stillwell, Assistant Secretary of State for Asian and Pacific Affairs, for his remarks. Secretary Stillwell.
Sure. Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone, or most of you, and good morning to many. A lot more than I would expect to be up at this hour, but it's good to have a chance to address this group and to welcome Ambassador Lutfi and Ibu Bianca. David, thanks for hosting this event, and Ambassador Lutfi, I look forward to meeting you in person soon. We're delighted to welcome you to Washington after a whirlwind week. As was noted, the movement from Jakarta here was probably a record, and getting through the White House and all those things on the 17th of September. So now we know you're ready to get to work. There's lots to do, and we're ready to work together with you to further build on this relationship. I also want to welcome the many U.S. government participants tonight, coming from USTR, DFC, DOD, Commerce, and many others from academic and the business world. This robust representation is a testament to the strength and prospects of our strategic partnership and more than 70 years of bilateral relations. A prosperous, vibrant, pluralistic Indonesia is a source of great stability for the broader region. And we in America respect and appreciate Indonesia's democratic values and constructive role in regional and international affairs. Now more than ever, robust cooperation with Indonesia is critical for rebuilding our economies and building a brighter and safer future for the Indo-Pacific. To date, the United States has provided more than $12 million in COVID-19 assistance to Indonesia. We're also proud that we were able to recently deliver the last installment of 150 ventilators to Indonesia, fulfilling President Trump's commitment to deliver 1,000 critical life-saving ventilators back a few months ago. So it was a good cooperative effort there. Our strategic partnership cooperation is broad and deep. It includes a growing security partnership with more than 200 military exercises per year, effective counterterrorism cooperation between our law enforcement agencies, and a joint commitment to seek peaceful resolutions of disputes in the South China Sea in accordance with international law, including the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, and norms in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Indonesia's UN note verbal on PRC claims in the South China Sea, submitted in June this year, was welcome and supports other countries to speak out for their interests in the South China Sea as well. We also hope to strengthen people-to-people ties between the United States and Indonesia by expanding educational opportunities. Nearly 49% more American students chose Indonesia as their overseas study destination last year, and close to 9,000 Indonesian students chose the United States. Indonesia has close to 40,000 young Southeast Asia Leaders Initiative graduates, YSEALI members, the largest group in ASEAN. Looking ahead, we are eager to build momentum in our bilateral trade and investment relationship. Increased U.S. investment in Indonesia is central to that goal. Indonesia has already begun to implement important reforms needed to attract more high-quality investment. We look forward to working with you, Ambassador, to advance Indonesia's efforts to liberalize market access and reduce barriers to trade and investment, particularly in infrastructure, energy, and digital sectors. In closing, I'm thrilled to welcome Ambassador Lutfi and Ibu Bianca to Washington and look forward to strengthening our partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Pak Theo, if you're ready, I would now like our Indonesian co-chair of USINDO, Pak Theo Sambuaga, for your remarks.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, President David Merrill, and all distinguished guests, particularly Ambassador Lutfi and all the Indonesian embassy staff. I would like very much to, first of all, to congratulate Ambassador Lutfi for his appointment of the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the United States. It's a very important position, taking into consideration the stage of our relation between the two countries, Indonesia and the United States. And it is also very important because, as we can see, the United States official, high official, and leaders are welcome you for your assignment here. And it is only reflect the commitment of the both countries and both leaders of these countries to keep strengthening the relation of our two countries. In this very crucial situation facing our two countries, that is the COVID-19 threatening, we even only need to even strengthen the relation of our two countries. And I only would like to understress the concern and the assistance, the help of United States government to Indonesia in facing this situation. It is only also, they show only recently we here Indonesian, and I know Ambassador Lutfi has already expressed our thanks to the United States government that we receive the assistance and the contribution of United States government of 1,000 ventilator to ease our effort to fight the COVID-19. I couldn't give more or longer of this remark, but again, I would like very much to congratulate Ambassador Indonesian for United States, Ambassador Lutfi, then his family is already there in DC, Washington DC, and good luck and all the best for your effort and our effort to strengthen the Indonesian-United States cooperation and relationship. Thank you very much, President of USINDO, David Merrill, of having the opportunity to give me the opportunity to give this remark and for conduct this important event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matteo. Ambassador Lutfi, it's now time for me to invite you to give your remarks. Please proceed.
Thank you, Ambassador Merrill, Ambassador Bob Blake, Secretary Stillwell, Board of Trustee, Board of Advisors of USINDO, You never fail to set me with good weather, Ambassador Merrill. Thank you very much. I found my ways. The only problem is today I'm accompanied by the extraordinary and plenipotentiary of my life, Bianca Lutfi, and I'm not used to have my boss next to me when speaking, especially in public speaking like this. So please forgive me if I stumble here and there, especially when I only have 15 minutes from Ambassador Merrill to address how important Indonesia and the United States will become in the near future. Many people says, what is in one word Indonesia and the United States will become in the near future? So my word is United States and Indonesia will be the old new best friend in the future. Why? Because we share so many things that probably in the past we have up and downs of the relationships, but yet this will be a new beginning. If you look Indonesia like photographs, we have a lot of clumsiness and maybe some holes along the way. But Indonesia, since 1998, had come, reformed themselves with pain and maybe some painful things happen for reform. And Indonesia, basically, in the last 20 years, had grown to be a democratic country, uphold the rule of law. We set a freedom for our people to choose and to speak. And these norms and values stand very tall with the US, especially at this junction of history. In the parliament for my confirmation, Ambassador Merrill, ladies and gentlemen, and this is also, I saw a lot of friends from Indonesia, including Pak Teo Sambuaga. This is like 4:30 in the morning to address me here. I would like to thank you and many friends also in Indonesia watching what is going to happen in the near future. So thank you everyone for giving me all the support, especially the express process for credentials. This new old best friend in the future is very important in this junction. Because Indonesia and the United States, we are both having two traps in our future. The United States will experience what they call Thucydides trap, and Indonesia right now is experiencing, after the inaugurations of Indonesia into a middle class of the world in 2018, we are in the middle and can be stuck in the middle of middle income trap. But both of these traps will create a special synergy between the two nations to work together and create a new best friends, though we know each other for a long, long time. So, as you know, the hegemonies between the United States and China will impact the successful region, the successful Indonesia in reaching its her golden years. Like you know that during 2,500 years of these two superpower on top of the worlds, when they interact to each other, sometimes they create a deficit of trust, created misunderstanding, and in the last 2,500 years, this Thucydides trap, only 4 didn't end up in war. The first one is when the Spaniard took over from the Portuguese. The second one when the Americans took over from the British. The third one when Uni-Soviet dissolved themselves, and the fourth one is when Germany take certain positions in the European Union. Other than that, it will end up in war. And this is a particular one the region is watching very carefully. In that way, in this junction, Indonesia will stand very tall to the United States as a friend, because we guarantee the rule of law, we guarantee the democracy, and we also uphold the right to choose and right to speak. This way, we created a new structure, a new pillar for the future. And the second part, I would like to talk about why Indonesia needs the United States as well in order to get away from this middle income trap. A study by OECD shows that a country without demographic bonus, meaning that more old ages than younger generations, will not graduate from middle income trap. And in the last 50 years, since 1969, the study shows only a few countries graduated from that. That includes Singapore, Korea, South Korea, Japan, and also a country like Taiwan. In Indonesia, will have end the demographic bonus by 2038 to 2040. That means we need to take off, we need to triple our income from $4,051 in 2018. And in 20 years, in 2038, we need to triple that to 12,500. In order to get from this middle income trap, we need to do two things. One is an investment in infrastructure, and the second one is transfer of technology. And these two, we've been working very hard in order to solve these two issues. In the first terms of Pak Jokowi's presidency, building infrastructures has been the number one main effort of the country's goal. And then the second one, we need to do the transfer of technology vis-a-vis a better education in the future. And this COVID-19, maybe some people says resetting of the world, but I truly believe this is something that will enhance Indonesia development in the future as well. So, Mr. Merrill, Ambassador Merrill, when I came here in February 2019, the government set some certain goals in order to skip from middle income trap. So Pak Jokowi actually spoke twice about this target. The first one is he wants to have Indonesia to be number 4 economically in the world by 2045. That means we have to grow, the trajectory of growth will be 6.4% annually. And because of that, we will graduate from middle income trap by 2032, and with a GDP per capita around $29,000. But during his inaugurations in October 2019, he says Indonesia shall be number 5 in the world, which means the GDP per capita will be $23,000. It will be number 5 in the world, and we will graduate from middle income trap in 2036. This target means, we have to have a growth catalyst in order to get there. So I pick about 3-4 coefficients that's very important in order to get that growth. So the first one is investment. Right now, the compositions in our GDP formula, investment amounted to be 33.1% presently. In order to support a high growth economy with trajectory of 6.4%, we need to have a growth in investment around 7.3% annually from now to 2045. Then the share of GDP out of investment, capital formations, will be close to 40%. And that means Indonesia have to have a better investment climate all the time. So if you look right now, our investment climate measured by ease of doing business Indonesia ranks 73. If the number in September issued by IFC, International Finance Corporations of World Bank, goes down, maybe the chairman of BKPM, the investment board, will be in a very difficult positions. But I truly believe Pak Jokowi is in the mode of reforming, creating omnibus law to create a good investment climate. So in 2025, the target is for Indonesia to rank above 35. And in 2045, we should be in the top 10. What does that mean? That means we have to reform all the time, making sure investment climate is getting better every year. And we have to understand, every single bureaucrats and Indonesian people have to understand that we need investment in order to propel our economic growth, in order to give a prosperity for the country. So we cannot discriminate whether the investment comes from domestic or abroad, or coming from one country to another. So this is one of the philosophy that we need to enable in order to get a good investment climate. Number two is the contributions from export and import. Today, our export-import contributions to our GDP is only 34%. And in order to support a trajectory of 5.7% or 6.4% annually, Indonesia needs to make sure the export component from GDP grow to 54%. That means the growth trajectory in export-import or international trade for that purpose will be 7.9% annually. So what does that mean? That means we have to adopt in the new norms of international trade. What is that? So if you look, one of the most successful country in the region that supported the growth in export, import, or international trade is Vietnam. How did they do it? This is very personal to me, because at the very end of my terms as Minister of Trade in 2014, I had spoken with one of ASEAN member country minister that had asked me to join TPP. And at that time, I just came back from Japan. Investment from Japan had come 700% during my tenure in Tokyo, and automotive has been set a destinations from Lam Chabang in Thailand to Karawang. That means, we're enjoying a big investment from automotive, and I believe this is probably one of the best transfer of technology for the country. And at that time, I was at the end of my term, and I don't have enough time to have a ratification at the parliament to do TPP. And then not long after that, we saw the news that Vietnam joined TPP with a lot of exclusions, because they are considered to be least developed country. But from that, we understand that Vietnam enjoyed a large chunk of investment in electronic. Net at that time around 8 billion. Now that investment is propelling for their international trade for export around 105% of Vietnamese GDP. And this is a new norm. What is the new norm? That is to open the market and then set the country as a destination for investment, central for productions, for export product coming from there. So we understand that Indonesia, in order to export more, to sell more, we also have to open more. And this will, I think, will be a big pillar for my job in Washington, D.C. in the next 3-4 years. That is to make sure that Indonesia can have a good market in the United States, but at the same time, guarantee or give a certainty for American product in Indonesia can compete and penetrate the market. So we sell more. In order to sell more, we have to buy more. And this is also already creating a momentum in Indonesia for the first time that Indonesia signed a new free trade agreement with Australia. We signed an agreement with Chile. We signed an agreement with EFTA country. This is a small European country consisted of Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Iceland, and I think Norway. So this is a start. Before that, Indonesia, country of 270 million people, only had two free trade agreement. One is with Japan, and second one is a preferential trade agreement with Pakistan, which expired last year or 2018. And then we have the ASEAN scheme. So right now, with Indonesian products getting sophisticated, such as automotive right now, making number 5 products for export, this is very important to sell abroad. And the third one that will set a catalyst for Indonesian GDP is industrializations. Today, Indonesia enjoy 20% of its GDP from industry, but we need to grow this to 32%. So then the trajectory is 7.8%. That means Indonesia has to be industrialized more. And we need to create more investment so Indonesia can set not just exporting as a raw commodity, but we have to export half-finished and industrial goods in the future. So this three is very important, ladies and gentlemen, in order to propel Indonesian economy. And like I said, we've been very much concentration in developing the infrastructure in the first term of Pak Jokowi. But the second part of this, that we have to spend a little more in developing our soft component, that is the people. I understand that for transfer of technology, we need to have good system of education in order to adopt this technology. So if you look at Indonesian situations right now, we have the component for our workforce that graduate from high school is only 30%. In order to grow this, to have a big, sharp trajectory for our economic growth, we need to have the graduation rate from high school to be 90% in our workforce. And also for college right now, it has to be grown to around 60% in 2035. Mr. Merrill, this is, I think, a new paradigm that we need to do. I look at the number of Indonesian students in the United States. The number is only half what it was when I was the one of the leading chairman of Indonesian student associations back in 1990s. So I was a leader of PRMIAS, the student associations. But the the members or the numbers of Indonesian students here may be just a third what it was in 1990. So this, in order for Indonesia to adopt high technology, is to have good people, good students, good young with a good educations. So the challenge is not just a college degree or technology itself, but the challenge is, we have a problem in educating our kids. Can you imagine that the number of elementary school, around 25 million, and we only can graduate around 15 million. So 3/4 of the kids that can have 1 to 12 educations. What happened? Because not building school is not a problem. The one is really big. The big problem that we're having is actually having a good teacher, qualified teacher to do so. Believe it or not, Ambassador Merrill, with this COVID-19 and what they call school from home, actually making a benchmark for new revolutions of teaching Indonesian kids through digital platform. So this is something, digital platform and healthcare platform will be one of my biggest agenda in the next 3 years in order to have a good, not coordination, but a good collaborations with the United States. The second part of this is healthcare. Indonesia right now produce around 4,000 doctors. We produce around 12,000 doctors every year, but we have a newborn of 4.8 million babies a year. So the ratio between doctors and babies every year is 1 to 400, making Indonesia one of the least comparisons between doctors and patients. In the city of Palu, for example, this is when tsunami happened a couple of years ago. The number of specialists and population of people is 13 to 100,000. So if you don't improve at this number, we cannot have a good generations to grow without a good healthcare. So a platform of digital healthcare is very important, ladies and gentlemen, for Indonesia as well. So right now, I truly believe people can say a lot of things, but I truly believe the United States will be still on top of the world of the technology, because they're leading of the technology, especially when you see the SpaceX, you know, the rockets come down in the middle of the sea into one platform. I think it's just a mind-boggling, and I don't think any countries can compete with that. So, Mr. Merrill, this is the junction that Indonesia and United States will have. The new old best friend will embrace in the future. Indonesia needs the United States, and the United States can rely on a country like Indonesia to make sure we have peace and prosperity in the region, because with peace and prosperity ensure the prosperity in the region in order for us to grow and in order for us to sustain our norms and value. That is democracy, the rule of law, right to choose, and right to speak. With that, I return to you my agenda in the next 3 to 4 years. Without your help, without everyone's help, I don't think Indonesia and the United States can embrace that peace in the region and also prosperity in the region. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Lutfi. We have a few questions from our audience, and I think we have time for a couple. Ambassador Donovan, former Ambassador Joe Donovan, welcomes you to Washington and asks 2 questions. One, I would be interested in hearing your expectations for the recently concluded U.S.-Indonesia infrastructure agreement. 2, what steps has Indonesia taken to bring about an extension of its GSP status with the U.S., and what are your plans in this area?
The agreement was signed on the 18th, and I think this is one of the 2 or 3 agreements that we are trying to work out between the United States and Indonesia. DFC is working very closely as well with this. Indonesia will create, after the Omnibus Law, will create the sovereign fund, will come with a participation of the United States. I think it's very important, and this try to ensure that Indonesia can have a quality infrastructure with a good technology, with the thought of sustainability along with it. And I think this is very important. We have to be responsible for our environment in the future. We have to be responsible in our fiscal, and we have to be responsible also making sure with a good quality that we're invested in. So I look forward to work with American institutions to develop a good quality, sustainable infrastructure. And I'm looking forward to also making sure that American product can be sold in Indonesia and compete.
All right. Here's a question from Iram Merrill. a name we recognize.
Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so for the GSP itself, you know, this is something that very important to my terms, and Indonesia have been working very closely with USTR. We are trying to comply and making sure this process of review will have a successful ending. And it is very important for Indonesia to show that our commitment to reform, our commitment to open up, our commitment to show to the United States that, you know, we are serious in making sure that Indonesian market is ready to open, because we would like to sell more to the United States as well. We've been, you know, from all the items been pending with USTR, we have a few small items that I think we should be able to conclude at the nearest point in the future. I will start talking with the USTR to making sure that, you know, we are in compliance of all the points that have been raised by the US side. And right now we are also looking forward, not just GSP, but also to look if we can have some kind of an agreement to have a better trading terms with the United States, not only to sell our products to the US, but also to ensure that US product can compete in the Indonesian market. So the commitment is there, Indonesia is ready, and Indonesia would like to make sure that US goods also become a part of sell more, but we have to buy more as well. Thank you, Ambassador Donovan.
I have a question from Iram Merrill regarding the Rohingya refugees. The government of Indonesia's humanitarian actions regarding Muslim Rohingya refugees in Aceh is very commendable. What are your views on how other countries in the region might join to address these refugee issues?
Well, I saw before my eyes how this process took place. You know, having refugee is no small matters, Ambassador Metal. And then I remember the first wave when it comes, I think 4 or 5 years ago. They have like 400 people in a boat that the boat is broken and it was just drifting. It was basically denied entry into Thailand, drifting to Malaysia. It was denied entry as well. We have no choice because it's not because of religion. It's not because other things other than we have to take care of human being. And humanitarian things are very important for Indonesia. And I saw that once Indonesia took the first wave, other countries also responding in the same manner. And we appreciate that. The problem is, you know, countries like Indonesia and maybe our neighboring country as well, you know, we are not, how do I say, not in the positions to hold, to host many of them in the country. It's just not cost money. It creates sometimes a problem, a humanitarian problem also as a host for refugee. But nevertheless, Indonesia would show by example, and we are committed that humanitarian come first, and hopefully that other country will follow suit as well. But then again, Ambassador, this is a soft diplomacy, and hopefully that other countries will share our value in order to take care of our humanitarian effort for other human beings.
I think we've come to the end of our allotted time. There are a few more questions, but I'd like to end on time. Let me thank you, Ambassador and Mrs. Lutfi, and all of the people online, our officers, all of our officers, Edward Wanandi included, Helen Jessup, our corporate secretary included, as well as the others that I have mentioned, all of our cooperating organizations, all of our members and supporters. Ambassador and Mrs. Lutfi were very impressed, as we felt we would be, by your remarks today. We're just very excited to have the opportunity to work with you to advance the cause that we all hold dear, which is improving the relationship and unleashing the potential for development and progress between Indonesia and the United States. Thank you so much for appearing with us today, and great luck on your tour.
Thank you.